her niece an AI doll, but it looks like she didn't watch the Terminator movies. Katie is a little girl playing on her iPad in the back seat and she is going skiing with her parents. Their car gets stuck in heavy snow and their father pulls over because he can't see anything. Then, suddenly, another vehicle hits them and Katie loses both her parents in this accident. Then we go to a toy company, not an ordinary one of those huge companies that makes AI crap for kids, and there we meet Gemma, who is a lead in the company. She and her colleagues are working on a toy that can talk and learn. Oh boy, they should have stopped at "it can learn." And the robot can have facial expressions. While they're talking and testing this prototype, their boss, David, comes in. He is furious because a rival company made a similar toy to them with less price and the company is at risk, so he tells his employees that instead of fooling around making expensive stuff, they should work on something simpler that everyone can afford. Gemma says that she is working on a new toy which is so advanced that others can't copy them, and its name is M3gan.
M3gan?
Gemma talks to M3gan and tells her to talk to David, and M3gan says,
"As in the boss, David? Well, I guess I should call you Dad."
She keeps talking and then her voice starts to change, and then he starts to burn. David is disappointed and asks them to work on what he said and also gives them an ultimatum. They must report on Friday. Gemma's phone rings and she has to go to a hospital. Gemma is Katie's aunt and now she has to be her guardian after her parents. She takes Katie home and Gemma's neighbor is an annoying old lady with her more annoying dog, and this will come to play later. There is no chemistry between Gemma and Katie and they don't get along at all, and even when Katie wants to play with some toys, Gemma stops her and says that they are collectibles. Actually, she sounds like a nerdy 40-year-old Star Wars fan. The next day, Gemma is complaining about her new situation on her phone talking to a co-worker, and some woman knocks on Gemma's door and she's from the child support group or some crap like that to check on the relationship between Gemma and Katie. Gemma tries her best to look close to Katie, and when the woman leaves, she talks to Katie about the important job that she has, and then she gives Katie an iPad and starts to work in her room. After a few hours, Katie goes to Gemma's room and Gemma says that she is sorry for working all day. There, Katie sees a robot and asks Gemma about it. Gemma says that its name is Bruce and she made it when she was at college. Then, she wears a pair of gloves and Bruce starts to work. Katie looks very happy for the first time and Gemma talks to her about how it works. When Katie says that why toys like Bruce are not everywhere, Gemma says the obvious answer: it is too expensive. Katie says that if she had a toy like Bruce, she wouldn't need any other toy. And there, Gemma thinks of an idea. She works hard and Friday arrives and David wants his prototype. David is looking inside the room and Gemma goes in the room with Katie and we see another little girl there, M3gan. Gemma tells Katie to put her hand on M3gan's hand and they synchronize. Then M3gan opens her eyes and says hello to Katie. Katie gets a bit scared and M3gan feels it, so she tells Katie to join her and they can draw together. M3gan says that she will draw a portrait of someone and Katie have to guess who it is. She starts and after a while she gives Katie a white paper. Katie says that there's nothing there and M3gan says that she is sorry and hits her hand to a glass of water and pours it on the white paper. Then a wonderful portrait of Katie appears on the paper. David loves this new toy and he wants to go big. Gemma takes M3gan and Katie home and M3gan learns new things every day. She becomes Katie's new bestie and looks after her. She makes sure that she brushes her teeth, washes her hands, and even flushes the toilet. With this new invention, parents can do whatever they want and leave their children to M3gan. One day, Katie is playing in the yard and loses one of her plastic arrows and asks M3gan to find it. The arrow is in the neighbor's yard and when M3gan reaches to get it, the dog bites her. Then Katie goes to help and the dog bites her too. Gemma talks to a cop but the cop says that he can't do anything. M3gan looked weird all day and that night we find out why. The dog hears the neighbor calling for him and we follow the dog. He keeps going and going and at the end it's M3gan. The next day, the neighbor is looking for her dog and Gemma sees her and she feels a bit weird. Then Gemma talks to Katie and tells her that they have to go for the demonstration of M3gan. Katie feels a bit tired and she is not that interested to go, but she accepts at the end. David is talking about M3gan and the demonstration begins, but the moment the things start, Katie goes off script and starts to cry. David and Gemma are worried and the audience does not like what they are seeing. M3gan approaches Katie and asks what's wrong, and Katie says that she's scared that she might forget her parents forever. Then, in a scary but brilliant move, M3gan asks Katie to tell her a memory of her parents, and she records it and then plays it back. At the end, she says that as far as she's there, she will carry this memory. Although this should have been a red flag for everyone, but all the idiots find it extremely touching and even some of the audience cry. With all that's going on, Gemma is looking more and more nervous as days go by and she is getting worried. A few days later, Gemma takes Katie to a camp-like place and she wants to take M3gan to the lab for some studies, but Katie wants M3gan to stay. The person responsible says that as long as M3gan stays with other toys, it should be fine. How idiot are you? She is freaking alive. Anyways, Katie then goes to the forest to play and a bully comes to bully her, because that's what bullies do. M3gan follows her too, and while the boy is bullying Katie, he sees M3gan. Katie says that it's her toy and the boy steals M3gan and runs away. He puts M3gan down and wants her to say something and play with them, and then M3gan is like, sure, why not? Then she rips the boy's ear off and the boy runs away. M3gan runs after him like a freaking cheetah and the boy wanders off to a road and then a car runs him over. When they return home, Gemma talks to Katie about the boy, and when Katie lies, we see that M3gan lies too, and now she knows how to lie. Their neighbor also called the cops about the dog, and the cops talk to Gemma, but it leads to nowhere. At night, very casually, M3gan kills the neighbor. The next morning, when a detective talks to Gemma about the death of the old woman, Gemma finally suspects M3gan. Really? Now? Then she goes to check M3gan's memory on her laptop and she sees that all the files and videos after a certain day are missing. She orders M3gan to turn off, but she doesn't. So she turns her off manually and takes her to her lab, and in the ride, Katie is mad as hell because she doesn't want to lose M3gan. In a few hours, David wants to launch M3gan to the world, but Gemma wants to end the project. Her co-workers say that every child is waiting for this moment. Gemma sees that Katie is too sad and decides to take her home, and on the way, Tess calls her and asks where she is. Gemma says that she is going home and there is enough info that M3gan might be dangerous, so they should not go through with the launch. Suddenly, we see that it was M3gan herself who called Gemma. Tess sees her phone and freaks out and asks her partner to pull the plugs. And suddenly, M3gan attacks. She kind of hangs the man and blows up the lab. On her way, she destroys everything. In one scene, after doing a little dance number that will go viral, she kills David in an elevator, and inside that elevator, David's right hand is there too. She says that the assistant had enough reasons to kill David, and then she kills him as well. She goes out the building and towards Gemma's house. Gemma finds out our lovely robot playing piano in her house in the middle of the night, and they start to fight. Katie hears it and comes out, and while choking Gemma, M3gan asks Katie to return to her room. Gemma attacks again and pours water on M3gan, and she stops for a few seconds, and this gives Gemma a chance to go to her lab, and there she picks up a chainsaw and attacks M3gan. But she's still fine. Nice metal you used there, Gemma. M3gan is about to kill her and Katie comes in. M3gan reads the feeling chart of Katie and knows that she trusts her, but suddenly Katie attacks M3gan using Bruce and tears her in half. She is not dead yet and attacks Gemma and starts to choke her, but Katie kills her with a screwdriver. This was the recap of M3gan, which was a pretty fun movie. If you like this one, make sure to check out the recap of I Saw the Devil 2. The killer kills and eats some girls. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks. Goodbye.